Hello, welcome to the Comic Bros Authority podcast. I'm your host, Andre, and with me is my co-host, my brother, my friend, my bruv.
Hi, everybody. Okay.
That's what you get.
Don't know what I did this time.
You know damn well what you did.
Hello. All right. So, welcome back to the podcast. Today, just because I'm feeling a bit sword and sandally lately, so I chose us to read this because there's something in the media that is very swords and sandally.
What, swords and sandally? Is sandally even a word?
No, I'm just making words up.
Okay.
Yeah, Gladiator 2 is out in theaters. I just kind of want to do something to kind of go hand in hand with that. We're big Gladiator fans. We love the Gladiator movie. We haven't seen number 2 yet.
Yeah, no, haven't.
But yeah, so we want to talk about our first DC book here because we don't usually do superheroes on the show.
Well, we haven't lately. I think we should do more superheroes. So why haven't we been doing superheroes?
I made it a point this year to read less superheroes, and I'm doing pretty well on that. I've really dived into my indie books and indie creators.
Yeah, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, so today we were going to be starting off with the most popular DC character, Superman.
Yeah. Suck it, Batman.
Suck it, Batman. Yeah, we decided we wanted to do Superman as our first DC book because Batman gets a lot of overexposure, and why not talk about the Man of Steel?
Yeah, everyone knows Batman. I'd rather do Superman because honestly, Superman has been having a really good last couple years in comics.
Yes.
I think for the last like 3 or 4 years, it's really good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm reading more Superman books than I am Batman books, surprisingly.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, because I'm reading Superman and Action Comics. I read the Steel miniseries that was written by the guy who voiced Steel in the animated series.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal?
I hate you.
I'm sorry. That's not a discredit to the actor who voiced Steel. Your work is great.
Yeah. I've been reading Power Girl as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really dived into Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Yeah, like she's Mariko Tamaki is doing a backup in
Action Comics, right? The
Yeah.
one where she's like supposed to go get some prisoner or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've only read the first part of that.
The art is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to the crazy shit on that one yet, but...
Oh, yeah. Read it. It's fun. It's good. I like Supergirl.
All right. Yeah, so the story specifically that like we mentioned about Superman having really good last few years here, and I think this is one of them. Honestly, I think Superman's been on a pretty good stride in comics.
Mm-hmm.
But the recent one that I think everyone should read is Superman the Warworld Saga, which we are talking about today.
Yeah. This is a book that is written by Phillip Kennedy Johnson. Let's see. We're reading the big trade paperback that DC came out with recently.
It's basically a compendium.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is thick.
It's a thick with 2 C's.
Thick with 2 C's. Yeah, so what we will be going over is Action Comics 1030 through 1046, Action Comics 2022 Annual, Batman Superman Authority Special number 1, and Superman Warworld Apocalypse number 1.
Yes. And a little gloss over of Superman and the Authority 1 through 4. Little gloss over.
Honestly, I don't remember that series at all.
I do.
Did you look it up before?
Nope. I just remember it.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. It's honestly, it's one of those Grant Morrison books that just kind of went over my head because I guess it just didn't have an impact on.
Nothing really happens in that book.
Yeah, and it's just him getting the team together.
Yeah, and then they fight like a villain who is holding one of the team hostage, and that's it.
Oh well.
That's it.
Okay, and then that's us glossing over it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's written by Grant Morrison, not by Phillip Kennedy Johnson, but it is a precursor going into this story. So, what this story generally is about is that there are a group of Kryptonians, the
Philosian.
Philosians, that are on the planet Warworld, which is a slave barbaric planet that is ruled by Mongul, who is an old Superman villain. And Superman goes with a team of they're the Authority, not the Authority you know from Wildstorm. They're DC's integrated authority. We'll explain that in a bit. And he goes to free these slaves and free the entire planet, and shit goes wrong. And then Superman and his team become gladiators.
Yeah, it's so sick.
This is probably one of the most metal stories of Superman that I've read. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's great. I remember when it was coming out. This was back in like 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
So just a couple of years ago. I believe Bendis left DC.
Yeah. He just left doing the Superman book, and Phillip Kennedy Johnson jumped on.
Yeah, and Phil Kennedy Johnson, in the story that leads up to Warworld, it was just he's just laying the foundation.
Yeah.
And then he like kicks it into overdrive with that special, and then it goes straight into like, all right, we're taking the team to Warworld.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you, what are your overall thoughts on this story? I mean, I know that Superman has had a very kind of a hard time with stories. There's you could really point out how many great stories of like Batman and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Superman, it's like it's really hit or miss.
Very much so. And I think Superman has had like really good stories since, honestly, like he's had longer strides since DC Rebirth.
Yes.
You had Dan Jurgens on Action Comics. You had Tomasi and Gleason and Mankey on
Superman.
And it was just those two books at the same time were just killing it. And
yes, they were. Dan Jurgens was killing it on Action Comics.
Yeah, him coming back from the 90s and then doing it again in 2016 was like a great surprise. Yeah. I was like, oh, this guy still has it.
Yeah, and he was doing such a great job with Clark Kent and Lois Lane being parents.
Yeah, that was especially that because that's where you get the introduction of their son, Jonathan Kent. And it's really cool to see that. I like that. I like my characters growing and evolving.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing them actually become parents, and this is like a new challenge for them. I thought that was a perfect next step for Superman and what you can do and make him a more interesting character.
Yeah, and like my idea of Superman has always been, he is this god. He's the strongest person on Earth.
Yeah.
But he's an alien.
Mm-hmm.
But he is actually like the most human out of everyone on Earth.
Yeah, that's what Batman said. It's like it's a funny dichotomy. He's not even from this planet, but he's the most human out of all of us.
I've always had that optimistic look towards Superman, and that's how I always felt.
Yeah. I mean, after that, the Rebirth era, then you get Brian Michael Bendis, which you either love or you hate it. I was not a fan personally.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan either.
I'm a fan of Bendis, but that one, it just wasn't for me.
I didn't like what he did with John.
Hate it.
Yeah, hated it. And like you said, it's not a diss to Bendis. I'm a huge Bendis fan. Love his work. He actually got me like just reading his Avengers.
Yeah.
And just that got me into collecting comics.
Yeah, he was the writer when we started collecting comic books. He was the it guy.
Yeah, and I collected every book he wrote for Marvel.
Yeah.
That was like you would follow him to follow the main narrative of the Marvel Universe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. New Avengers. His Ultimate Spider-Man is the shining light of the Ultimate Universe.
Yes. And
his Daredevil.
I mean, it still is.
Yeah. I would think like his Daredevil is up there in the pantheon of like great Daredevil stories. Because you say, all right, I like Frank Miller. But then people go, oh, No. It's Bendis's. But anyways, but then we get Phillip Kennedy Johnson on the story, and damn, it's so fucking fun.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so yeah,
And this was your first time reading it?
no. Okay, so it was when it was coming out in single issues, I was reading it, and then I stopped halfway through, and I never finished it.
Damn.
It was so good, but I forgot what happened. I think I just dropped it because I couldn't keep up with the monthly comics I was reading at the time, and then what else happened? Yeah, and then I think then life happened, and I just sort of stopped reading comic books for a little bit, and then I got into reading comic books. I think about a year ago again, where I hardcore started diving into it because Fall of X happened.
Yeah.
That's when I
That's
jumped.
right.
Yeah, when you pitched Fall of X to me, I was like, oh, okay, I'll get back into it.
No, did I pitch the gala to you?
Yes. You told me what happens at the gala, and I was like, oh, sweet, I got to read this.
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies. I was like, sweet. No, but yeah, this is some good shit, some good Superman. Really shows his character and how strong he is, and not physically because he's at his weakest during this story.
Yeah.
But how he keeps fighting for those who are lesser, or not even lesser. That's the wrong term to use because he doesn't even see them as lesser.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, he says a fucking perfect line in there. Someone asks him, "Are their lives really worth more to you than ours?" And he says, "No, not more, but also not less."
Oh, I love you. I love you, Kal-El.
I know. So this, I think, is a perfect storm of showing like how amazing he is as an icon, as the symbol of hope, while putting him in this like fucking like awesome Planet Hulk like situation. It just works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about you? What did you think about Warworld Saga?
I fucking love the story. Like I said, I was collecting it when it was coming out, and everything that I was reading, I was just like, damn, like Phillip Kennedy Johnson really understood who Superman is at his core, because sometimes writers can miss the mark on that.
Yeah.
And with the way he was handling Clark in this situation, inspiring hope to slaves.
Yeah.
And saying, I will get you out of here. I will fight for you. And still, wearing his family's crest.
Yeah.
The S means hope.
Yeah.
And I just, it completely blew me away because he was in a situation that called for, killing other people. That's how you get, the iron.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll explain that in a bit.
Yeah. When we get to it, we'll explain all that as we kind of go along.
Yeah, and it's just like, to me, Warworld Saga is the perfect mix of pathos and action and really understanding who, Superman is as a character to his core.
Yeah, exactly. I like that about this story because I think if you haven't read Superman before, this is a good one. It's a good one to start off with because
it's pretty self-contained.
Yeah, you don't really need to know much, and we'll give you some context as we talk about the story. But yeah, I think it's great for new readers. I think it's a perfect one because you understand who he is at the core of his character, and also being a badass story.
Yeah,
because everyone's like, "Oh, Superman's so boring." Oh my god!
No, Superman's not boring.
Superman's not fucking boring at all.
No, I absolutely.
He can be boring if you don't have the right team. But I think, with this one, they just fucking struck gold.
Yes.
All right, so let's set the scene here. I'm not gonna go through the entire thing, but I do want to talk about it in its like kind of like 3-act structure.
Yeah.
So the first story you have, actually, let's set up a little bit more context because even though it is self-contained, the thing is, in here, Superman is not strong. He's not at 100%. He is losing his power. His cells are dying.
Yeah, he was like overexposed to solar energy.
No, that's All-Star Superman.
Oh my god. No, something.
It was the source wall. he was exposed to the source wall during Dark Knight's Metal.
Dark Knight's Metal. There we go.
That is an or Dark Knight's Death Metal. Sorry,
Okay.
that's an abysmal story. Just cosmic stuff happens.
I really like death metal.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, I love the metal stories.
And you're wrong.
I know you can be, but I'm right.
So he's exposed. His cells are dying, or they're accelerating at a faster rate, and so he has to try to find a way to slow that down. And he gets. I really like Warworld Rising. That's like the first part of it, where it becomes this like international incident as a spaceship carrying refugees from Warworld crashes on Earth, bringing a part of the source wall with it. And for those who don't know, the source wall is like the wall at the edge of the universe, which contains energy from like the beginning of time and whatnot. Anyways, so this spaceship crash lands with a few refugees. One of them, she starts telling Clark about who she is, and finds out that these refugees are actually Kryptonian. There were a sect of Kryptonians who left Krypton because they didn't agree with them, and then they became kind of like their own race.
Yeah.
Like how we're all human, but we have like Chinese or African or Mexican and so on, American and whatever.
Yeah.
But that fragment of the source wall becomes a point of international incident, which the American government wants it, the Atlanteans want it, and Superman wants it, and he wants everyone to like just shut up and just don't touch it.
Yeah. Well, because it has unimaginable power.
Yeah, that little piece. Yeah, and just it's just too powerful for anyone to wield. Even the Atlanteans can't hold it. Of course, what the fuck is the American government going to do with it?
Well, Amanda Waller wanted it, so
Yeah.
that's something.
I really like how it's very Earth-based. It's very, you have these two sides. Like it's going to like, because you have Atlantis blocking a lot of trade routes in the ocean, and they are going to like it's like what is that like that nuclear incident that happened in the 1960s?
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
The Cuban Missile Crisis. It's like that.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from when reading it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I actually like that whole deal of like them trying to get the fragment and it mutates somebody, and it just becomes this whole thing. And at the same time, Mongul is trying to get Superman to get to Warworld. So everyone thinks it's a trap. Superman says, no, we got to protect him. Even though he is like his powers are fading, they're just going away.
Superman straight up said, I don't care. People need my help.
And the Justice League won't help him.
Nope, they won't.
No.
So he has to enlist another team of superhumans to go and help him. And that's where he brings in the Authority.
Yeah, that's where you get Grant Morrison's book, Superman and the Authority. And that book, like we said, glossing over it, it's just Superman gathering the team together, and that's it. And there's not really much to it except for, come on, team, we have a mission. That's it.
Yeah, really. That book really confused me because Superman was hanging out with
JFK.
JFK.
JFK is like giving him a speech, and it's like the 1960s, and then Superman's feeling all sad because because he got assassinated. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
It doesn't make sense in like the canon of everything because they were trying to do this 5G initiative, but that got cut fucking quickly, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so Superman gets the Authority.
Who does the Authority consist of?
Yes. Let's talk about these characters, Andre.
Yeah. So 2 of the characters in the Authority were in the original Authority by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch. And that is Apollo and Midnighter.
Yeah.
Which to me is a little odd because they're supposed to be Batman, Superman analogs.
Yes, they are.
But there they are existing next to them.
Yeah.
But in the Superman Batman Authority special, one of my favorite things was when Midnighter approaches Batman and says, hey, we never officially met. I just want to say you did a good job with Grayson.
I like that moment too.
Yeah, because Midnighter was involved in the Grayson Super Spy series.
Yes.
And I just thought that was a great character moment. Just because, Dick Grayson's amazing.
Wasn't Midnighter and Batman Eternal? Batman and Robin Eternal? Because he met Batman before. I know he has.
I didn't read Batman and Robin. I think I didn't get past like issue 4 of that.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's Snyder, Tinian, and Seeley.
Yeah, because I could have swore it was in one of those where you had Midnighter and that's where my brain's getting mixed up if he actually like met Batman. But the thing is, I do like the props that he does give to him about about Dick Grayson.
Because Dick Grayson's the best.
Yeah, damn right he is. Yeah, and then who else do you have? You have Steele's niece, Sasha.
Yeah, Natasha.
You have Light Ray and Omac.
Yeah.
Okay, so this whole time I was reading Omac because I thought it was a woman.
It's the purple hair, huh?
It is. I thought Omac was a woman.
Honestly, Omac looks like a barista from LA.
Okay, because he has this kind of thing with like his midriff showing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, belly button showing. All right, cool. So I'm just thinking like,
yeah, I mean, that's usually what you associate with, like female costumes.
Yeah, exactly. Like the female costumes. I don't know. I was like,
yeah. And I was
I don't know if I was going to bring this up or not. Cause I was just like, this whole time I'm reading her, like, she's like she loves like her and Light Ray are a couple.
You keep saying her.
Fuck. They, whatever.
Yeah.
So Omac.
You know what? For me, I was like, I thought it was a woman at first too.
I didn't know until this read through. That's my bad.
Yeah, the first time I read it, I was like, Omac is a guy. You know what? I thought we were just getting more queer representation.
I thought so too.
I was like, all right, you got a gay couple
and you got a lesbian couple.
Yeah, I was like, damn, Superman, look at you.
You're just like, this is gonna be an all-inclusive kill Black Ops team. And then you have Enchantress. I'm not familiar with this Enchantress. Is this the same one from like Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Okay. And then you have this universe's analog to Jenny Sparks. You have Manchester Black.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which again,
he's part of the Elite. He's DC.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But like, just because I've been reading the Jenny Sparks book, that's coming out right now. But yeah, I just totally forgot that. And again, it just doesn't make sense to have the Authority mixing in with the DC characters.
No, it's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because they're killers.
Yes. Yeah, they are. And that's the thing is that
they're killers, and they basically took control of the whole world to try to create a utopia.
Yeah. It's like Squadron Supreme.
Yeah.
Except no, Squadron Supreme didn't kill though. They were wholesome.
Oh.
But yeah. So you have this team, their Black Ops team. They go over there. Even Superman tries to send out to the United Planets, hey, I'm going to try to free Warworld. And they just ignore him.
Yeah, he asks for assistance.
And nobody comes to assist them.
Nope.
So as soon as they land on Warworld, they get their shit wrecked.
Oh my God. That was crazy. Okay. How horrifying must it have been for Superman to go and see like Philosians like crucified?
Oh, as soon as they land, yeah.
As soon as they land, the Philosians are
just like lined up, crucified all the way up to the arena.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just like, dude, like those are your people.
Yeah.
I would be fucking livid.
Yep.
I would be mad, but like Superman keeps his cool. He's a better man than me.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah. And so, yeah, the first confrontation with Mongul goes absolutely
it goes fucking south.
Quick.
Yeah. Okay. So I like, there are a lot of good character moments that do happen. Like when Light Ray is talking to Superman, and then she's even like looking at him like, of course, it's Superman. He's the best hero.
Yeah.
He's the one that you aspire to be. And, she has this moment where she's just saying it. I'm like, damn, like, it's so cool that you chose me to be with you.
Yeah.
And everything. And then, once they get to the arena,
Light Ray is just out.
Yeah.
But what Superman says to her.
Oh.
In her dying moments.
Yes.
Hold on. I want to read that because that was pretty cool. That was really like touching. Yeah. He says, because what were they going to do with her body?
They killed her and they strung her up.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is metal because it's violent and
Yeah, so what he says to her, he says, "This isn't the end of your story, Leah. Do you hear me? Not all stories end with death. You'll see stars born, and you'll see those same stars change and grow and be born again. You'll have so many adventures and love and be loved by so many people of so many worlds that one day you won't even remember us. I don't know when or how, but I know we'll see you again." And then he gets knocked out.
yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, he was just like, you're not humiliating like my team even after death.
Yeah.
And that was like, damn.
Honestly, give it up for Phillip Kennedy Johnson with that shit. I
Yeah.
was like, God, this made me such a huge fan of him. And
Yeah.
he, like, this put him on my radar of, writers to watch.
Yeah, exactly. In these first few issues, I've noticed it's Daniel Sampieri.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I didn't realize it was him
Yeah.
as doing art duties. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, because he went from this to Dark Crisis to Wonder Woman.
Oh, that was him on Dark Crisis.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's a phenomenal artist. Love his work, but his work on Wonder Woman so far is
It's top notch.
yeah, it is. I think that's like some of his best work because I think it's even looking at this and reading Wonder Woman on a monthly, Wonder Woman has more of a polish to it, which I think is just like really, I don't know if like his inkers or colorists are different, but
Yeah, I think the colors are different.
but they're really working in tandem with him and really showing his artwork. And they're not to say that this is bad, but he's gotten so much better since this.
Yes.
So,
And this was already fantastic.
yeah, this is already fantastic.
Yeah, so at first you have Daniel Sampieri on art, and then it changes to Riccardo Federici. Ricci? Is he Italian?
It seems like it because all right, he has a painted artwork style.
Very in line of like Esad Ribic.
Yeah, it's like Esad Ribic or like Frank Frazetta.
Yes.
So it's in line of that. So I think he's a European artist.
I'd have to guess so.
I'm going to guess so because it just reminds me of something straight out of like heavy metal.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting from this.
And then he brings such a grime and grit to the visuals of this book, especially when Superman and the Authority are captured by Mongul and thrown into the cages and thrown into all the like
the pits and everything and
everything's just
the
so
forges,
fucking, the forge, everything's
the
just so dirty.
caverns. Yes, everything. That's what I like about his artwork because I really wanted to talk about that. He's for me the superstar artist of this book because when it gets to him, like it just like I said, like it reminds me of like those old like I said, it's Sword and Sandals. It's Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
So that's what I really like over here.
And even when you have the moment of Superman talking to the slaves,
yeah,
in the in like the pits, it's very soft.
yeah. When they're on the surface of Warworld, the colors are very red. They're very brown. They're warm colors, but as soon as they go underground, everything's cooler. Everything's green, blue, like a teal sort of. And it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. So in the story, when after the Authority get captured by Mongol, you get introduced to two characters that are continuing in Superman's story.
Yeah.
And it's Osul and Otho.
Yeah.
Just two little Philosian kids that are gung-ho on getting their iron longer. And like that's kind of the currency of Warworld.
Yeah.
So every time... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go on.
Oh, so like every time you defeat an opponent in the ring, in the arena, they go ahead and they get iron. So their chains become longer. And until their chains are long enough to be, I don't know,
because there's a guy here with like chains that is just like all over him. So I can only imagine. It's
And
like,
he's like missing like a leg and his arms and shit.
you have that guy, he's on bended knee for Mongul.
They all are. They all look up to him as, this god.
Yeah.
This the Mongul-Who-Is.
The Mongul-Who-Is, because there's Mongols, because it kind of does like the Brainiac thing, doesn't it? Where like there's multiple Brainiacs before, and then this is just a new iteration. So this Mongol is the latest Mongol in a long line of Mongols for generations.
Yeah, because these Mongols grab the women and they basically SA them.
Yes.
And they bear children to grow up to be hard to fight.
Yeah.
And that kid Mongol is going to grow up to kill
Mongol, and the Mongul-Who-Is, so he can be the Mongul-Who-Is.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I know the wording gets a little confusing.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah. So the chains are the currency, and Natasha starts working forging metal.
Yeah.
Because that's just how she is.
Yeah.
Which I thought this was a great story for Natasha too, because she doesn't really get a lot of exposure. I think the last time she really got something on this level was like 52.
Yeah. And when was that? Like 2006?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2006, 2007, in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, and it's good to see Natasha being used like this.
Yeah, like she actually has a point in the story. She starts building armor and weapons for Superman, and Superman becomes known as the Unblooded Sword, which that is used as sort of a like a derogatory term, like a taunt of somebody who just doesn't kill.
Yes.
Because everyone else is killing except for Superman.
I mean, those little kids are killing.
Yes.
You see their iron?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty long iron.
Yeah. Yeah. They have some pretty long iron.
Like they're just shackled and then they just get a new
chain link, basically.
Yeah, a new chain link for each person they defeat, and it gets long.
Yeah.
And even if they get like a limb cut off, but they still defeat the other guy, they're still going to get that. And the longer it is, the more you're respected.
Yeah. And so the part in there where Superman saves them and Mongul walks out into the arena, and then they both run up to Mongul and they're like, "Did you see us? We felled the monster. Oh my God," and blah, blah. Mm-hmm. It's like, "We want to be just as worthy as you, Mongul. We want to be just as strong and feared as you." And then Mongul's like, "Okay, then kill your sister."
Yeah.
And then Superman is like, he's pinned down. He's screaming no. He's like, "Don't do it." I was like, just because the way comics play in your head, you're reading this like a movie scene. You have like their fight scene before, you have all the sound effects, and then it gets quiet as soon as like Mongul walks into that arena and says, like, "Just do that." And then for me, I just hear like the little sting of a violin just like raising and just like,
yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God, like it was just so intense and perfect.
And this is why I like comics, because you control the pacing.
Yeah.
And you are accompanied by the visuals for it to play out in your head. Like whenever I have Tim Daly in my head. Whenever,
me too. Yeah.
It's
Tim Daly.
It's Tim Daly from the animated series in my head whenever it's Superman. So it's just a movie in your head, or depending on like how cartoony it is.
Yeah, sometimes it's an animated film or whatever.
Yeah, but still,
I think when it comes to Ricardo Frederici, it's a movie.
It's a movie
because his painted style is very more on the realistic side than on the like a cartoonist side.
Yeah, and he also did this cover for this trade.
Yes, those covers are so cool. Yeah, I'm not really so much of a sword and sandals guy. I could give like two craps about Conan the Barbarian. That's just not my thing. I mean, I read something like The Goddamned from Jason Aaron, which is cool. But I'm not really into that. But then like actually grab, like when you have like Greg Pak doing Planet Hulk, you have the Warworld Saga. I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I do like, I mentioned earlier, I do like Gladiator. I think Gladiator is a great movie. I saw it at a very impressionable age.
Let me tell you, Ricardo Frederici draws a fucking hot Superman. Like,
calm down there, son. It's just the drawing.
like, goddamn. Like, this man is hot. Ooh. I went from Palm Desert to Palm Springs.
Oh, Jesus.
He finer than a motherfucker. I mean, he like in the story, there's an illusion that Superman's young, but it turns out that he's getting older. So when the illusion wears off,
Oh, he has the grays.
the gray temples,
Yeah.
salt and pepper Superman.
Yeah, he's salt and pepper in this. Yeah. Yeah, because he's losing his power. Also on Warworld, the power Warworld, you have these star forges and everything, and I believe it's like powered by a red sun or something like that.
So that's why the Philosians and Superman aren't strong. They're not powerful.
Yeah.
That's why he's even in a more weakened state than what he was when he arrived.
Yeah, and I like he has a sword. He carries a sword, but he uses everything for defense. And he's getting his ass kicked because he's like fighting like if he was still invulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And so he learns from his fellow guy that, oh no, it's you have to fight like, you know, like you're not a Kryptonian.
Yeah.
You gotta fight like a Philosian here.
Yeah. Which is I want to backtrack a little bit and talk about the Authority more, this version of Authority.
Yeah.
They all have their own thing. They get captured. Manchester Black is getting tortured by the teacher.
Oh yeah.
Who is it seems like a knockoff of
the Ebony Maw.
Ebony Maw.
Yeah, I know. I was every time I was reading, I was just using the voice
of Ebony Maw
from the Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it seemed like to me. Omac and Omac and Natasha, actually, they're defeating motherfuckers in that ring.
Yeah, they're killing.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who's killing the most though? Midnighter.
Of course he is.
All right, Midnighter's special powers. He has like this computer chip in him where he can see like 15,000 steps ahead of anybody, and he can defeat anything. He's supposed to be Batman to the extreme.
Yes.
Without the prep time. The prep time is like a millisecond. So that's his whole shtick. And so he manages to escape the arena when everyone gets captured.
Yeah, and he's kind of doing all these like secret missions, spreading the word of Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. He's killing. He's just killing indiscriminately. Well, not indiscriminately. He's killing just all the war zoons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
torturing too to get information.
Yeah, because he's trying to get to Apollo, who they're using to power a Starforge.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if he takes Apollo, then the Starforge fails, and then an entire section of Warworld gets destroyed. And Superman says, "That's not going to happen on my watch, buddy. Like, I don't care." And he goes like, "Oh, well, even if it's just like a couple thousand of them die, like, who cares? Like, we get to go free and leave." And Superman's like, "No, it's all of us or none of us."
But that was the conversation that was happening between the Authority members of how we got to get out of here. Omac ends up working for Mongul.
Yeah, becomes a turncoat.
Yeah, he becomes a turncoat just so that because Mongul promised to resurrect Lightray.
Yeah.
But Lightray becomes something that looks like
the Death Racer from Fourth World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I think that is.
What do you mean?
Okay, so if you go back and you look at the end of the book,
okay,
you see a shadow forming behind Lightray and Omac, and then you just kind of see it take off.
Hold on. Oh my God! Yeah, yeah, because it has the sticks.
The sticks, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
I don't know how they managed to capture that one.
I don't know. I realized it when I read it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I didn't see that till now.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, so they use it to turn basically Omac and Lightray into generals for Mongul.
Meanwhile, Midnighter is just like, I want my... Wait, are they married in this universe?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sure they're married. They can't just undo their marriage.
I mean, they undid Clark and Lois's marriage in New 52. They undid Peter
No, that's
Parker.
just it's too much backlash.
Yeah.
You could do it to the straight people, you do it to the queer people, and lose half your readership.
Yeah. Honestly, does anyone even like praise Midnighter and Apollo anymore for being, like an iconic queer couple?
Every time I see something on like the DC page and they post up like for like Pride Month,
Mhm.
and they post up like Midnighter and Apollo, they're just like celebrating Pride characters and whatnot, and people go, "Oh, this is too woke," and blah 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 blah. It's like no wonder comic sales are falling and blah blah blah.
Like this happened 20 years ago. Man.
Dude, this happened 25 going on 26 years ago that these two were married.
Yeah, this happened
And
so long ago.
Yeah, and everyone had no problem calling it woke back then.
Yeah.
Or saying anything because the comic was fucking great. But the comics that they're in are still great.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the big fucking deal?
Exactly. Yeah, you know what? That's how I feel whenever it comes to like disabled characters in costumes. People give a lot of shit about it, and then they're talking about how woke it is. But I was like, don't you guys remember Silhouette from the New Warriors back in the 90s?
Are they talking shit on WizKid?
Exactly, WizKid.
From like 1987, 1988?
WizKid. Silhouette in New Warriors.
Yeah.
I believe she has like cerebral palsy. But
Batgirl? Batgirl is like probably the most famous of them all.
Yeah. Oracle.
Yeah.
Barbara Gordon. Who is honestly, I loved her No Man's Land. Anyways, back to the story.
Yeah. All the tangent.
Yeah, so it's really just Superman trying to save these people with what little he has.
And he's also like telling stories of hope in between battles too, like while they're resting.
Osul and Otho, they go and they start warming up to Superman after Superman, tells them like, hey, like I had a son, he was about your age and I made him this toy.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really nice. Later on in the story, they basically get adopted by Clark and Lois.
Yeah, they do.
Which I think is really nice. We're probably going to get some lost time.
I have thoughts on that.
Okay.
I like it. I like the idea. What I hate is that there's too many Kryptonians.
There's a lot of Kryptonians.
There's too many Kryptonians.
Yeah, there's a lot right now.
Yeah, so Superman has this whole ass family now, and it's just this whole thing. Like Batman has a family, Spider-Man has a family, Superman has a family, and
yeah, there's a lot of like
the Flash has a family.
Oh, I'm cool with the Flash. Has always had a family.
Yeah. Mark Waid, thank you. Thank you, Mark Waid. No, yeah, this story the second part is them in the arena doing all their stuff and the rising of that revolution. Then the third act is the revolution and them pushing back against it's like a full-scale war between Mongul and the Warzoons and Superman and the Philosians and whoever that Mongol took over their planet and threw them into slavery.
Yeah, I just want to ask you, what did you think about the annual issue where it was showing Clark when he was a kid with Martha Kent?
Yeah.
And then the other half of the book was Mongul with his mom. What did you think of that story?
Oh, it was excellent.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, with the Superman one, I was surprised. I didn't know Martha Kent had to deal with cancer.
I think that's a new wrinkle in the Superman story.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't remember her having cancer before.
Yeah, that was my first time ever reading something like that. So I was like, oh, okay. News to me.
But it was great. Clark learns,
the bully at school is being bullied at home.
Yeah.
By a drunken father.
Which was, oof.
That was, yeah.
It's always tough whenever it comes to, just child abuse.
Yeah. Okay, so I do like the Mongul story a lot because you see Mongul wasn't always hard. He was a child.
Yeah.
He cared for his mom.
And that's what made him weak.
Yeah. Much like what happened in Penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good parallel.
Hey.
So
go back to our Penguin episode.
Now streaming on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Yeah, I do like that where it's where you see him, he's soft, he's a kid, he has a love for his mom, but his mom is hard as fucking nails.
Yeah, they get kicked out of their little tribe to go survive and just
The wilderness.
yeah, being chased down by wolves and shit.
Yeah, and then he tries like feeding his mom. He's like, hey, like I like here's some water, here's some food. And she's like, no, get that away from me. You're supposed to think about yourself. And it's what really trained him and really gave him that fire to come back is like the ultimate badass to kill. That's the thing. Like even while he was a badass, he still had love for his mom because the reason why he killed his dad, was because he loved his mom and what that Mongol did to the both of them.
Yeah, but he still turned out to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, no lie. But I thought that was an interesting layer because like he's a piece of shit. He's just this ultimate bad guy,
Yeah.
pure awful.
Slaves.
But you get that extra layer of, this he was a child and, just seeing that, like, looking at a child nearly every day of my life. It's, they're just unbridled joy. They're just all love. Even when they get bratty, they're just pure love. They don't know hate. They don't know any of that. So to see that,
I don't know. Her kid bites.
it's not hate, it's frustration.
Oh. So when he bites, you go, oh, don't do that.
No, I tell him, go get me another beer, girl. No, it's frustration because he doesn't know how to regulate emotions.
Yeah.
And properly handle it, No, but that's what, like, I think that was just a nice, interesting layer to have for Mongol.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, fuck, like, that's why he's so evil and everything. Like, oh, it was just, because we all know about Superman.
Yeah.
So getting to know this Mongol and knowing where he started and how he got to be who he was, it makes me empathize with him, of course, to a certain degree. He's still a monster, but I really loved it.
Oh yeah, it's great character depth.
Yeah.
He's not so one note.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I like because the whole time I'm just thinking like, all right, he's just going to be the big bad guy, big strong guy. He fights and hates Superman. But no, there's a lot. There's
a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was really well done in that annual. I'd have to say, I think the biggest flaw with this run is was after Frederici gets off the book, then you just kind of.
It's a lot of artists.
It's a lot of artists, and it was like tonal whiplash coming from that kind of style of like, this like of like, Metal Hurlant
yeah.
to, classic Western comics. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, but you still got some pretty good shit. You got Eaglesham.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, like I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. I really honestly haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
What, the Fantastic Four?
For me, yes.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. He did a Shazam with Jeff Johns.
Oh, the recent one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that was plagued by delays.
Oh, yeah.
And then they restarted it with Mark Waid and the amazing Dan Mora.
Yeah, I think that's like probably like in the later half of this run. I do because you have David Lapham too.
Yeah, so David Lapham does the backup stories in the
of Steelworks.
of Steelworks, showing Lois Lane, John Henry Irons, as Supergirl, John Kent, as they're dealing with this refugee who has a mission at first to kill Clark, but it turns out that she goes against her Mongol's orders and just wants to live, but her body is
it absorbed too much of that source energy where she's dying, much like Superman, but at a much faster rate. So they put her in like a stasis.
Yeah. So you get all the backups with that. How did you feel about those backups?
I liked them.
Yeah.
It gave them the like, all right, meanwhile on Earth sort of deal. And that's what I liked about it. It was just like, all right, Superman's dealing with that over there. This is what's going on Earth. And they're trying to find a way to contact Superman and do all that. And I know with connecting to the source, Superman, he gets like a certain power. His powers start to come back eventually. And what is it? He gets like a certain sword, right?
That's later on when he absorbs the fire. So while Superman is in the cages, he's learning the story from the Philosians about,
The storyteller guy.
yeah, the storyteller guy, about how there is this fire from an old god that can imbue them with power and can free the slaves from Warworld.
Yeah.
And
And Mongol's trying to get that same power too.
yes, so that's kind of like the driving narrative for Clark himself,
Yeah.
as Midnighters trying to free Apollo, Natasha, and the other blacksmith
Yeah.
are trying to rework like the Starforge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they're trying to do.
Just so it can not bring energy from a red sun onto Warworld that dampens Superman's powers.
Yeah. Because if they're able to turn that Starforge into like pure sunlight or solar energy, then they can turn the tide of the war. And it's I mean, they end up doing it. Spoiler
Spoiler alert.
alert.
We keep forgetting to do the spoiler alert in the beginning.
You know what? I think when it comes to superhero stories, most people are going to know what the hell happens.
I mean, good guys win.
Good guys win.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm reading more indies. Because all right, I'm not saying like this is bad, but it's just you just know that, good guys are going to win.
I want to see how they win.
That's the thing. It's how they win that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's your spoiler, kids. But yeah, I mean, overall, yeah, they managed to do that. Omak sacrifices his life to save Light Ray,
Mm-hmm.
and Light Ray's holding his body. And
I was surprised that Light Ray can carry Omak
yeah,
at the end with all that armor on him.
yeah, me too.
I was like, Jesus.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I was surprised too when I saw her carrying away from the Starforge. I was like, oh Jesus,
Yeah.
oh man,
She's buff.
like because she has her power is super speed.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean super strength.
Yeah, and also like how that they were also turning some of the generals, like what's it, the Orphan?
Yeah.
Yeah, they turned the Orphan against Mongul.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like how Mongol has that list of generals: the orphan, the teacher, the mother.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean they're pretty cool. I mean, it's
they all get their own backstory too. Oh, I don't think the teacher does he?
I think it's throwaway lines by Manchester Black.
I don't even know. I really don't know. But I know, like, I like the Orphan because it takes place during the events of No Justice.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like weird and creepy, very body horror like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the helper robot fused with like source energy and the pregnant baby
Yeah.
to form this thing.
I
And
almost.
Superman hated calling it the Orphan.
Yeah. Superman's like, "What's your name?"
What's your name, dude? I don't want to. The Orphan doesn't feel right. He goes, no, that's the only name I know.
Yeah. Wait. Start the reactor.
Wow. No, yeah, that's yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this book. A lot of cool imagery, a lot of like grotesque things. It feels dirty, it feels lived in. There's a lot of new stuff added on to Kryptonian lore. I think even a lot of lore going on to Warworld because
Yeah.
I didn't really know much about Warworld before this book.
I mean, I knew what it was, but
Yeah.
I didn't. My knowledge isn't too deep on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this added a nice wrinkle to what Warworld is that makes it like a threat.
Yeah, definitely a threat.
And James Gunn, if you're listening,
Please. It would be so cool to see this in live action.
yeah, I wasn't fond of the Justice League Warworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't.
That was trash.
Yeah, it was not good.
I think it would like if if this movie or this book can be adapted, it'd be such a great Superman story, and it would also be like a nice departure because it would be something different for Superman to do, because we're always seeing Superman fight Bizarro, Lex Luthor a million times, just him going through like the run of the mill like Rogues Gallery or Doomsday again.
Yeah.
But if you do this, like, all right, throw Superman out of his element, like if you like, all right, so I wrote a pitch because I like writing pitches to movies that will never, ever, ever, ever be made. And here's my pitch is if you do, it will be called Superman Warworld. It's something similar in the vein of this, where you have Superman, being a gladiator, but also that Justice League 2-parter episode where Superman dies.
Oh.
And they get sent to that planet, and then he uses his cape as like...
Oh, and he befriends the wolf thing.
Remember that episode?
I do, of course.
Something like that.
And he gets that awesome beard.
Yeah. Something like that. Like if you have mixed those two in very well, like I had this idea, like number 2 leads into this would be part 3. I wrote it all down in a notebook. I have the entire thing like layered, like planned out on what I want to do.
And James Gunn, if you're listening, pay my brother.
Yes. It would help.
You're throwing out ideas for free, man.
Who listens to this? Come on.
There are people that listen.
I know we have a few listeners. Thank you for listening to this. So
please.
We really appreciate all your help.
Yeah, honestly, a round of applause for you, the listener.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, story ends. I mean, I'm not going to really get into it.
Honestly, it's well worth the read, and it's a lot of fun. Take your time with it. Get to learn these characters. It's a great introduction to who Superman is.
Yes, yes.
Even in his darkest hour, there's always a shining light and his message of hope.
Yeah, and I think hope is something that we need right now. That is our episode of Superman, the Warworld Saga by Phillip Kennedy Johnson, Daniel St. Pierre, and Riccardo Federici. So for this book, the easiest way to collect this is what we talked about at the beginning. It's this thick book just called Superman, the Warworld Saga. It's a thick book. Don't let it intimidate you. It's a really easy read to get through. It's all full of action. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
However, DC did announce that they are coming out with Superman, the Phillip Kennedy Johnson Omnibus, which collects everything I mentioned, plus before Action Comics 1029. So 1029 and so to 46, and then everything else, including Superman and the Authority, because it goes directly into it. And yeah, so if you want oversized hardcover, go with the omnibus. However, I'm fine with my Warworld Saga trade paperback. It's so damn good. And you can find all these for like pretty cheap, discounted. I've seen on InStockTrades.com, CheapGraphicNovels.com,
Organic Price Books,
Amazon.com, and BarnesandNoble.com.
We are not sponsored by any of these websites. We are just listing them as a way for you to go ahead and support them. So for Amazon.
I mean, if Amazon is the only way you can get a book, then by all means.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, I don't, because the way they package books is just...
It's awful.
It's awful stuff.
Yeah, things come dinged up.
Yeah, exactly. I have so many books destroyed from Amazon shipping. So, yes, those are many ways you can collect this book. I know it just seemed like a lot, but honestly, the thick trade or the oversized hardcover is the best way to go with it. There you go.
All right.
And if anyone out there has any questions, you can reach us at our socials. That will be Comic Bros Authority on TikTok, Instagram, or Comic Bros Authority at gmail.com.
All right. So
you can like and subscribe. Give us a rating.
I'm sorry. I kind of just like... I'm sorry.
I'm signaling to him over here, and he's not doing a speech.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Work was a lot today, and it's Thanksgiving week while we're recording this, so I've eaten a lot of food. I had a Friendsgiving the other night. Then we had a Thanksgiving potluck today. I'm meeting my boyfriend's mother tomorrow for a Thanksgiving dinner she's having. And then the following day is actually Thanksgiving. Okay. You can go ahead and like and subscribe. Go ahead and leave us a comment anywhere on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. It'll help us reach, our intended audience. Leave us a review. Like my brother said, if you want to go ahead and contact us, ask us questions on where to start with comics or something different, just like
anything different.
Yeah, just ask us the damn question.
That was aggressive.
I'm sorry. Ask us the damn question. How was that?
Yeah, better.
All right, thanks. This was fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. Okay.
Well, my name is Andre.
And my name is Miles. Signing off. Bye. Jesus Christ. You're just like, whatever.